Many gardeners spend months watering, feeding, and caring for their plants. Yet the leaves stay pale, flowers remain few, and growth seems much slower than expected. It can be frustrating to give a plant everything you think it needs and still feel disappointed. Now here's something that surprises many gardeners. One simple kitchen ingredient can wake up millions of helpful living organisms in the soil in less than an hour. The surprising part is that the yeast itself is not really feeding your plants. Instead, it is helping something beneath the surface that most of us never even see. After watching gardens through many seasons, one pattern appears again and again. The strongest plants often grow in the healthiest soil, not necessarily the soil with the most fertilizer. If this feels confusing, you're not doing anything wrong. Today, you'll discover what really happens when yeast is mixed with one common ingredient, why so many gardeners misunderstand this simple mixture, and why the results begin underground long before you notice anything above the soil. Before explaining why this happens, it helps to understand what is already living beneath every healthy plant. When we look at a garden, we usually notice leaves, flowers, and stems. But below the surface is another world that works quietly every day. Healthy soil is filled with tiny living organisms. Helpful bacteria and beneficial fungi work together to break down organic matter, release nutrients, and support healthy roots. These tiny helpers cannot be seen without special equipment, yet they are some of the hardest working partners in your garden. When this underground community is active, roots often grow stronger, plants use water more efficiently, and nutrients become easier to absorb. This is one reason two gardens with the same plants and the same fertilizer can produce very different results. The difference is often the life inside the soil. That is also why yeast works in an indirect way. It is not acting like a fertilizer. Instead, it encourages activity among these tiny living helpers, creating better conditions for healthy growth over time. Now we can reveal the simple mixture that many gardeners talk about. It combines ordinary baking yeast, a small amount of sugar, and warm water. The sugar is not included because plants need to drink sugar. It has a completely different purpose. Sugar provides a quick food source for the yeast itself. As the yeast becomes active, it begins to wake up and multiply. Tiny bubbles start to appear, showing that the yeast is alive and working. This usually happens within about an hour when the water is warm but not hot. That bubbling mixture is a sign that the yeast has become active before it ever reaches the soil. Once applied carefully, it may help encourage biological activity underground, especially in soil that already contains healthy organic matter. The important point is that the mixture is preparing the yeast, not directly feeding your plants. So what actually happens during that first hour? This is where many gardeners become surprised. The plants themselves do not suddenly grow taller in 60 minutes. Their leaves do not instantly become greener. Instead, the first changes happen inside the mixture and later within the soil. Active yeast interacts with the environment around the roots, where countless microorganisms already live. As conditions improve, those tiny organisms become more active. Over time, they continue breaking down natural materials and making nutrients easier for roots to reach. Think of it like preparing a healthy neighborhood instead of giving one person a large meal. The soil community becomes busier first, and healthy plants often benefit later. That is why patience is important. The real work begins where your eyes cannot easily see, and the visible improvements usually come much later. There are also a few common mistakes that can prevent this simple method from working as intended. One of the biggest mistakes is using hot water. Water that feels too hot to your hand can damage the yeast before it ever becomes active. Warm water is enough. Another mistake is adding far too much sugar. A small amount is all the yeast needs. Some gardeners also believe they should pour this mixture onto their plants every week because they think more always means better. In gardening, balance is usually more important than quantity. Too much of almost anything can upset the natural balance of the soil. Gentle, occasional care often produces better long-term results than constant treatments. Healthy gardens usually grow through steady habits rather than frequent changes. It is also helpful to understand that not every plant responds in the same way. Vegetables such as tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers are actively growing during the warm season, so healthy soil conditions may support their development. Many flowering annuals can also benefit from rich, living soil. However, plants like cacti and succulents prefer much drier conditions and generally do not need extra moisture from mixtures like this. Dormant plants are another example. When a plant is resting for the season, encouraging more soil activity may not provide much benefit because the plant itself is not actively growing. Climate also matters. In warm weather, soil life is naturally more active. During cool seasons, microorganisms often slow down, just as many plants do. Indoor plants may respond differently from outdoor gardens because temperature, airflow, and light conditions are not the same. Instead of following one fixed rule, it is always better to watch how your own plants respond. Another question gardeners often ask is how often this mixture should be used. The answer is usually less often than people expect. Healthy soil already contains countless beneficial organisms doing their work every day. The yeast mixture should be seen as an occasional helper, not a regular replacement for good gardening practices. Using it too frequently may leave extra moisture in the soil or create an imbalance that plants do not need. If sugar is left on the soil surface, it may even attract unwanted insects. A simple approach is usually the best one. Apply the mixture only from time to time during active growing periods if your soil is healthy and your plants appear to benefit. Then allow nature to continue its own work. Consistency with watering, sunlight, and healthy soil care will almost always have a greater impact than repeated treatments. After many years of gardening, experienced growers often reach the same conclusion. Strong plants begin with strong roots, and strong roots depend on healthy soil. While products and special mixtures can sometimes play a small role, they are never the entire answer. Careful observation often teaches more than constant action. A plant that receives the right amount of light, water, and healthy soil will usually reward patience. Sometimes the biggest improvements come from understanding what your garden is already trying to do naturally rather than trying to control every detail. The yeast mixture is simply one small example of supporting the life already present beneath the surface. If you're comfortable sharing, I'm curious whether you've ever tried using yeast in your garden, or if you prefer relying on compost and natural soil care. Every garden teaches something different, and your experience may help another gardener learn as well. As you continue caring for your plants, remember that lasting improvements rarely happen overnight. Healthy gardens grow through small, thoughtful choices repeated over time. Feed the soil before you focus on feeding the plant. Watch your garden closely, notice how it responds, and make gentle adjustments only when they are truly needed. Sometimes the garden improves when we simply step back and observe. Do less. Observe more. Get better results. Thank you for spending this time in the garden with me, and I look forward to sharing another simple gardening lesson with you soon.